Guys, hello, welcome back. Again, we're doing another video, part 2 on Outsmart Abdominal Fat. So I wanted to talk again just a little bit about more melatonin, a little bit about the adrenal glands, and again touching on your lighting exposure being one of the most important ways that you can reduce your abdominal fat in that middle area. So going through what is the function of getting out in the sunlight in the morning, one of the most beautiful things I did this morning. So one of the biggest things is going to be our brain, what it does for our brain. So we have our hypothalamus, our pituitary glands, and our thyroid glands. So this is one of the main functions of light exposure in the morning. When we get that light exposure, it goes through our eyes, can hit our central nervous system and go outward to our peripheral nervous system. So if you're not familiar with the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, the central nervous system is just going to be your brain and your spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system is everything out. So those extremity areas that I mentioned yesterday. So when the sunlight is being seen by the eyes in the morning, by the cells of the body, it's going to hit these little axes, these little hormonal axes within the brain. And we're going to produce a lot of things. So like oxytocin and dopamine, a lot of people are familiar. These are phenomenal hormones, but there's so much more that happens with this cascade of events. So it's going to go down and hit our adrenal glands. This is the main area where we are secreting a lot of cortisol in the body. This is the function of the adrenal glands, is to stimulate that cortisol. And we love cortisol. We just love it at the right times of the day. Like we love caffeine. We love caffeine at the right times of the day. I'm not necessarily going to go drink, a quart of coffee right before I'm going to bed. I'm going to drink it in the morning, stimulate that cortisol, and have a healthy release throughout the day. So the adrenal glands, that's going to be responsible for a lot of our cortisol release. So when you're in the morning sunlight, you're getting that high little spike of your cortisol, you're elevating your body temperature. Again, there's so many things that happen. One of the best questions somebody ever asked me when I was training them was, Rachel, do I need to eat in the morning to stimulate my metabolism? No, the metabolism is already, I always say, thank God the body's smarter than we are. But the metabolism is already doing its thing. Try to get that internal dialogue going with yourself. So how can I stimulate my metabolism even more without eating food? Because there's a lot of nuance with food, a lot of what is going to be the best diet to eat. Do you have chemicals and toxins in your food? Are you even aware of where your food is coming from? Are you eating commercially based proteins with a lot of antibiotics and hormones added to them? So there's so much nuance. So I go back to the bare minimums, the bare basics, my free ways to stimulate the metabolism. So fasting, sunlight, grounding, exercise, movement, resistance training, whether that be a few push-ups in the morning, a few squats, some calf raises. All of those things are free and are great ways to practice stimulating the central metabolism while you're in the fasted state in the morning. So you don't need to be reaching for food. I mean, even if you're drinking a glass of water, that's going to help stimulate the metabolism. It's kind of this myth that we have to keep the metabolism going, this 6 meal a day nonsense essentially that we have of constantly stimulating insulin way too much, and not only stimulating insulin but stimulating that on side of our genetics, which is notorious for progression and growth. So anytime of tumor growth, they love that on switch being turned on all the time, and we need to have this balance where we're hardcore turning on and hardcore shutting off. So all of this starts, I talk about the morning sunlight, but all of this starts previously the night before. So I had yesterday in my video, I had the blue light blocking glasses. Suppressing blue light at night is so key to hormone regulation. It is so key to passive health, so key to getting rid of, again, of this midsection. The reason why I'm making this video, getting rid of this midsection is going to be figuring out what are all the pollutants and toxins in my life, and one of the biggest things is going to be your lighting exposure. So becoming aware. There's even ways to tint your phone screen to a red tint. A lot of the times I'll be in public and I still keep my red tint on, and people are like, why is your phone screen red? And I'm like, it's just a thing that I do. I just tint it red because I'm sensitive and I'm really trying to get in line with my hormones. And the way that I track this is through the Oura Ring. So guys, great. I love the Oura Ring. I've had it for 3 years. I use it to track this cortisol and melatonin balance that I'm constantly speaking about through HRV, through my respiratory rate, through my resting heart rate, my deep sleep, my REM sleep. I look at it all and I can tell, I can, kind of hypothesize, all right, Rachel, what direction are we going in? I've done experiments when I'm eating right before bed, and I know that this is going to suppress, well, I already know that it's going to stimulate insulin. I do not want insulin stimulated right before I'm going to sleep. I really do want my melatonin boosting and up in my sleep, because that is related to the delta wave state of the brain. It's related to the most restorative, restful sleep. And more importantly, that state of sleep is related to immune function. So we need immune function. If you want to age slower, if you want to get rid of, again, the abdominal fat, you need to tap into your immune system, tap into your anti-aging mechanisms of the body, tap into your natural melatonin secretion. So that nighttime dimming of the red lights, the blocking of the blue lights is so important. One of the things I have not mentioned before, I don't think, is going to be that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. window. You want to be asleep within this window. A lot of people describe themselves as night owls, and the thing is that we are designed, our bodies are designed, we are light beings. We are light. When we eat food, that's a code for light. So your body is, whether you identify as a nighttime person, your body biologically is still very much tapped in with your light exposure. So the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. window there is where we secrete, where we secrete the most melatonin in our bodies. And it's just all having to do with that dark time. The darkness of the environment, of our environment, stimulates melatonin. Melatonin loves darkness. So if you have like a bright night light in your room, that could also be disturbing your sleep. And they have a lot of studies on this. Like the smallest amount of light can disturb your sleep. So it's more so if you are very sensitive, you do want to be, if you have weight gain in this middle section, if you're pre-diabetic, if you have fatty liver disease, if you have any hormonal disturbances going on, you want to become extremely conscious of your light exposure. All this is consciousness and awareness. So once you have that, you can progress forward and make your life and your health goals a lot more efficient, a lot easier, because I've said it before, I'm one of the laziest people you'll meet, and I will take any help I can get to limit my toxin exposure, to help my body cleanse as best as possible. And so that is one of the ways there. I think that was going to be all for this part 2 video. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, except to mention that melatonin, endogenous production of melatonin, is extremely important. I understand when I say melatonin, a lot of people automatically think of the supplement bottle that they're taking. I asked this the other day, someone asked me, people always ask me, what supplement do you take? I said, I don't take any supplements. I did once upon a time, and I'll make that for another video. But now my main supplements, like I said, fasting, grounding, sunlight, exercise, lighting exposure timing, and even things like caffeine is one of my supplements that I use. So I hope this video is helpful. If you did like it, please like, share, and subscribe to help me help other people. And as always, good luck.